On page number 54 here in Masechet Zevachim, making fantastic progress. Now, friends, today we are going to speak about how did the Mount Moriah become designated as a temple mount. That's what we're going to speak about in today's page in the Gemara. And we've been following Masechet Zevachim every single day. We've been bringing a small tidbit within regards to that. Now, friends, how did Mount Moriah of the book of Shema in chapter 24 in the second book of Shema, also known as Gad, who instructed him to build an altar to God that would end the plague from which the people were suffering? The Talmud, the Gemara, on today's page, offers a much more detailed description of the long-term planning that went into arriving at this decision. Now, it's interesting, there was, which we have to state out over here, Rabbah quotes a passage from Shmuel Aleph in chapter 19, verse 18 to 19 actually, where we find Shmuel, the prophet, sitting with David in Nayot, in Ramah. Now the verse is difficult, since Nayot and Ramah are two different places. So Rabbah, he's going to interpret his homiletically as meaning that they sat together in Ramah and discussed the topic of Noyo Shel Olam. What is that? That's a beauty of the world. What does that mean? It's the Bet HaMikdash, a temple. It's clear that the temple was supposed to be among the highest places in Israel. Since the commandment to visit the Bet HaMikdash on the pilgrimage holiday states V'kamta ve'alita, that people must go up to determine the place that is considered highest over there. Naturally, the Shalosh Regalim, the pilgrimage festivals is Sukkot, Shavuot, and Pesach. Naturally. Now they would study Sefer Yoshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 15, and found that when the borders of the different tribes were spoken about, most of them had their borders described with the words Ve'ala, and the border rose up. Ve'arad, the border moved down. Ve'ta'ar, the border was drawn. Now regarding the tribe of Benjamin, the word Ve'arad does not appear, which is very interesting over here. Now, it goes on over here. Having determined that the Temple Mount would be in the tribe of Benjamin, they considered placing it in Ein Aitam, which, let's say, is the highest spot. Now, the great commentator of the name Rashi, he's going to identify Ein Atam as Mei Naftoa, based on the book of Joshua in chapter 15, verse number 10, which, according to the great rabbis, was one of the springs from which water flowed to the Bet HaMikdash. This was rejected because the Sanhedrin was to be situated in the tribe of Yehuda, which was just to the south of Benjamin. But far from Mei Naftoah, this would lead to the decision to establish the Bet HaMikdash on the border between these two tribes, as we see actually in the book of Dvarim in chapter 33, verse number 12, respectively. Now the great commentator Rashi again is going to point out the source for placing the Sanhedrin in the tribe of Judah stems from his blessing. Actually, we see in Parshat Vayechi in the book of Bereshit in chapter number 49 and verse number 10. So over there we're talking about where he is promised to serve the role of the Mehokek, or legislator, you could say. The placement of the Sanhedrin near the temple is derived from the book of Devarim, also once again chapter 17, verse 9, where we learn that a complicated problem is to be brought to the Kohanim and the Leviim and the judges. Thus the Bet HaMikdash was arranged so that it was situated in the tribe of Benjamin, with the area of the Sanhedrin also in Yehuda, which is very interesting. Now, it's also interesting, this page of the Gemara, we have a lot talking about the Tanakh, also the Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, respectively. We learn all about the story of King David and Doeg. So we know that this is just another side bit. Actually, this is coming from the Orsamech website now. The previous one was Rav Adin out. King David's great adversary, we know, was a man named Doeg. And many passages in his Tehillim describe the pain he suffered from him. There is no indication in the verses, though, either there or in any other place of the Tanakh, as to what was a catalyst, let's say, for the fierce jealousy of Doeg that motivated him to aggravate King David on so many occasions. Now, in page 54, which is our Gemara we're speaking about today, we learn that King David hinted at the source when he said, "For the envy concerning your house has consumed me." This is actually from the book of Tehillim, chapter 69, verse 10. This is interpreted by the great sage Rabbah as a reference to the envy felt by Doeg towards David when he succeeded in deducing from the passages in Dvarim, in chapter 17, which we spoke about before, 8, and chapter 33, verse 12, and Joshua in chapter 18, verse 12, the exact locations where the Bet HaMikdash was built. Now, the great commentator, the Maharsha, he notes that this interpretation fits in very well with the passage preceding, let's say, the above-mentioned source of Doeg's envy. If in it, King David becomes the fact that I was a stranger to my brothers and a foreigner for my mother's sons. That's see also in Tehillim in chapter 69, verse 9. This is a reference to the incident described in Masechet Yevamot, I think page number 76b, of Doeg attempting to disqualify King David because he was descended from the Moabite convert, Ruth. Because of his envy for King David for discovering the Bet HaMikdash site, Doeg wished to extend the Torah ban on male Moabite converts, on fully entering the congregation of Israel to female Moabites as well, to make David now a stranger to his brothers because of his great-grandmother, until it was conclusively established that Doeg was wrong. Now, King David's discovery, which he made in cooperation with a great prophet Samuel, as we see in chapter 19, verse 18, once again, was a result, obviously, of strenuous effort, which he described as the struggle he made after vowing that I will not come into the shelter of my home, nor go up onto my bed. I will not give sleep to my eyes, nor slumber to my eyelids, until I discover the place for my God. This actually comes from Tehillim, I believe, in chapter 132, verses 1 to number 5. So that's actually on Amud Bet. We learn about this, this important Talmudic stories in of itself, respectively. So always very, very over here. Now, it's just from this week. I just took that from the Sameach website, but it's spoken about, let's just say over here, about, let's say, the remains of sacrificial blood were poured into the altar base. That was one of the topics we spoke about. We spoke within regards to which sacrifice is proper disposable of remaining blood indispensable. That was another topic. Application of blood or the sin offering to the altar. This was something we spoke about. Here, I'm just speaking about a few of the just highlights from pages 51 to 57 of this week's. We spoke about how the red band around the altar, with regards to that specific topic, and how the Olah sacrifice was offered. What was the process within sacrificing this? Another topic was why the southeast corner of the altar was different from the other corners. And another interesting topic was how the altar was constructed. We learned about the dynamics of the Mizbeach itself, very, very important, because there's a lot of hidden depth, let's just say, to all these different topics, let's just say, in itself. We learned about how the location of the Bet HaMikdash was determined. There was various determining facts, how to locate, and so on and so forth, with regards to the place, location of the Bet HaMikdash. We learned about we're going to learn about the 6 Asham, sin offerings, different korbanot that's given, especially for a sin offering. We learned all about that. We're going to learn about the Todah, the thanksgiving offerings also, and the Nazarite sacrifice. Remember, we spoke all about the Nazarites in Masechet Nazir, which I recommend everyone to look back on, which we recorded the videos about, it was about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago now. It was nearly 3 years ago, actually, we started it. Now, we also learned about the time and place for the slaughter of the Shlamim Korban. That was another topic. We spoke about the Shlamim sacrifice procedure and who may consume its flesh. That's another topic. And obviously, we're going to learn about the remaining categories of sacrifices in of itself. So very, very interesting. Took this last bit from Rabbi Mendel Weimach, who is a Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Or Sameach in Jerusalem. Now, friends, we are a community here. We are learning about the great tidbits of the great Daf Yomi every single day. So please watch your space, join our community over here. And every single day we give an interesting tidbit over with regards to the page of the Gemara. We like to go to different locations over there. I'm just in a synagogue in the city of Bet Shemesh, just recording this at the moment. And we don't just record videos on the Talmud every single day. We record history videos of great rabbis that there were of yesteryear. And another project that we're working on at the moment is to actually explore the history of great rabbis of yesteryear from all different countries, the Ottoman countries, and so on and so forth, from North Africa, from Asian countries, and Israeli rabbis. That's the project that we're working on, and just doing a huge amount, as I say, in of itself. So please, everyone, join at the moment, and if you've just joined, really appreciate it. Just recording this actually from the city of Bet Shemesh over here, just to give you guys a view of the street. And so Bez Hashem, please, everyone, watch over the previous videos. Also, we've recorded already in the tractate of Zevachim, already a staggering nearly 53 videos, because obviously we're now on page number 54 over here. So recording this from Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph, and wishing you all a fantastic day. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch, and be well.